Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Thanks for tuning in to My Classic Car, home of the certified car nut. Well, this week I've managed to worm my way back into Jay Leno's shop out in California. I always love doing this. And let's see what Jay's doing today and what he's playing with.
And worm is the key word.
It's that key I had made.
Well, I finally finished it since you were here.
It is, you know, I've seen this in all its stages, Jay. It was against the fence, it was in white.
Right,
It looked a little rough, but it was solid.
Right.
And then last time we were out here, you were almost done, but not quite. And now, it is done.
It's done. It's a, for those who don't know, it's a 66 Oldsmobile Toronado, which was a front-wheel drive car. You know, when I was a kid, I thought this was one of the most exciting automobiles. And when you see them now, by the side of the road, they look like some dinosaur sticking out of the tar pits. And when I told people I was going to do one of these cars, they would go, "Why? They're so ugly." But you know, I think it's, when you see them as they were intended to be, it's a bit like seeing an old lady and trying to convince people she used to be beautiful.
She was really nice.
You know, people, "Oh, I don't find that hard to believe." "Oh no, wait till you see it." You know, and then when you put it back exactly the way the designer intended it to look, it's a really exciting, uniquely American car. I mean, this, if you know nothing about cars and you came from a foreign country, you'd say, well, that has to be an American car. It just has that sort of confidence and that sort of strength.
That stance.
Yeah, there's just something kind of cool about it. It's a uniquely masculine looking vehicle.
And it was really, I mean, first front-wheel drive since the
front-wheel
Accord,
drive,
right?
and you had, you know, everybody's doing this now
with
the wheel arches, and this had it back in '66. We've made quite a few modifications to it, obviously. We've converted it to rear-wheel drive. It's now 1,076 horsepower, because I live in a hilly area. You need that extra oomph to get you over the, you know what I'm saying? You go and you don't stall on a hill, that could cause an accident. So you want to have that extra power to just kind of get you over the crest of the hill.
And you put it in there.
Yeah, and if you can get all four wheels off the ground as you're going over the crest of the hill, all the better.
Added benefit, right?
Added benefit, yeah. Well, here, I'll show you the motor. Let's take a look.
Hey, this is a two-man job, right?
Yeah, and just grab that, give it a pull.
Got it. That's pretty heavy, Jay.
Okay.
This goes here?
Yeah, it should stay up, but that's okay. It's a, this is a prototype 427 motor. It's got twin turbos.
Those turbos are so massive, it's great that it's got this long front end.
Yeah, and the engine sits back much further, so it really handles. It's really a nice driving car. It's what I'd like to think maybe the car might have evolved to. If it was still sort of in production.
But you mean twin turbo 1076? Yeah, right. That's evolution.
But it's fun because it's a 4,200 pound car, but it just pulls so strong. We'll drive it a little bit later, but I'll tell you what. I want to show you a car that is the exact opposite of this car. A car that couldn't be further in design and ideas, as advanced as this car was. This next one I'm going to show you featured, well, the first new engine of the 20th century, the first new kind of engine design of the 20th century. Come on, we'll take a look.
Let's go look at it. Welcome back to My Classic Car. It's a Mazda.
It's a Mazda Cosmo. I don't know if it's the only one in the country. There aren't many. It's the only one I've ever seen in the country. These were built for Japan only, right-hand drive. But this was Mazda's first attempt at building a out-and-out sports car. By the mid-'60s, the Japanese had a lot of confidence. You know, the motorcycle had won Le Mans, and the cars were starting to come to the American market. And they wanted to build a car, their version of a Corvette or a Jaguar or an XK8. And the other car that came out at the same time was the Toyota GT.
And that's what everybody thinks about.
Yeah, that was
cool Japanese
and that
cars.
is a very cool Japanese car. That is a great car, and that was featured in the James Bond movie. But it was very expensive, and they didn't sell. I think they only made 352, something like that.
But that sort of overshadowed this car?
That did overshadow it. Plus, this had the Wankel engine. Let me show you here.
And this is a 1970?
This is a 70. You know, it's interesting. Wankel is really, all internal combustion engines date their designs back to the 1800s.
Right.
This was really the first totally new type of engine to go into production. Really, and well, if you count the sleeve valve, that's basically
it's tiny.
It is tiny. This had what they call a 110. This is a 12A. I've upgraded it. When I got this, the engine was shot on it. So we put the Weber carburetor in the manifold. There's a place called Mazda Tricks down in Long Beach, and I got the motor from them, and they built it up. It's about 200 horsepower with a Weber and everything on it.
And they're all the same. They're really small.
Yeah, you can just take it out and put another one in if you want. But they put out the horsepower. Not a lot of torque, but a lot of horsepower and very lightweight. And it just makes for a wonderful car to drive.
Is it a fiberglass car?
No, it's an all-steel car. And you know, it has a lot of quirky, you can see the Japanese were looking at the Thunderbird, they were looking at the Alfa Romeos, and it's got a little bit of all that to it. The back end looks like Pininfarina.
Well, it really
out of Italy.
does. That's what I thought when I saw it.
And then the roof looks like a Thunderbird.
Yeah.
It just has a lot of styling cues in it, but if you sort of look at it as like a new country getting into building cars, there's a lot of excitement to it. This was their ad. They wanted to catch that.
Very Peter Max.
Yeah. And when you see some of the brochures, there's like Japanese girls in miniskirts go-go dancing, you know.
White boots.
And you see guys that look like Japanese versions of the Beatles playing guitar standing around the car. You know, so here you go. I mean, here's some of the, here you go. See some of the.
Oh, yeah. There's the white boots.
Yeah, there's the white boots. You got to have those.
Still ahead, Jay finishes up his history lesson with Dennis on the Mazda Cosmo.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. But this is basically, I mean, this is the engine, right?
This is your engine here. This is how your wankel works. You have a almost a triangle, and there's your combustion chamber. Bang, bang, bang. You know.
And each of these things actually forms the seal between them.
Right. The apex seals are here. It's interesting. When Felix Wankel developed the Wankel engine, a lot of companies bought it, and nobody could do the seals. They'd only last 100 miles, and seals would blow out. And the Japanese put their nose to the grindstone. They paid a fortune for the licensing, and they couldn't get it to work. And then the rumor is that a guy was working with his pencil and noticed the carbon on the pencil, and he said, "Hey, I bet carbon would make a good seal." And so now that's kind of how
is that what they are?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that right?
kind of a carbon seal. I don't know what it is now. I'm sure it's some variation of that. But now they're good for, you know, like a internal combustion engine, 100,000 miles, not a problem.
How high do these rev?
Well, they rev to about 9,000, which, you know, you're talking 1966 when an MG and a Triumph 4500, hang on, my watch hand flew off. You know, so they're quite smooth. Shall we take it out?
Well, yeah.
Let me pull it out so you can get some shots
Yeah,
of the
cool.
back. Here, I'll start it up.
So what's it sound like? That's a wild sound.
Yeah, it is an unusual sound. The interior is all original. We just cleaned it up.
Even the upholstery?
I think it might have been upholstered. I think the rugs are original. I've got to get, it was more of a herringbone kind of, I got to do the upholstery. We just got it back together, just got it running. I didn't even have to repaint it. It looked okay.
Really? It's original paint?
It might have been repainted at some point. I didn't paint it.
But you know, there's so many different designs and design influences in this car, it seems.
The rear end I like. The rear end really kind of looks unusual. It looks like one of those show cars.
Yeah, it does.
People think it's an Alfa Romeo or something else, you know.
Well, it sounds like a motorboat.
Yeah, and you got your covered headlights.
Plexiglass?
And they don't fog up. I mean, all the other people had covered headlights, and they put vents in them, so.
Yeah.
Plus the water drains out of them. I mean, it's a smart design. I mean, this was a Japanese version of a Corvette or an XKE. I mean, you know, the very period. I always like these type of mirrors. They work terrifically
Fender mount,
well.
yeah. And so you have front wheel discs and rear drums.
Right.
Well, it started.
Let's take it out.
Let's take it out. It's because there's no engine up there. Welcome back to My Classic Car. Jay always impresses me with his wide array of rides, and the Mazda Cosmo is a perfect example. It's one of these hills, right?
Exactly.
There can't be many of these left.
There are probably a few in Japan. Now they're somewhat revered, you know, as a Japanese. The Japanese have finally been in the auto business long enough to have true classics and true memorable cars, you know.
And this is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, they always built, you know, people cars, people transporters, small cars. The Toyota GT, this car, now they're getting more and more. The 240Z, certainly.
And just like that, Jay said the magic words.
Japanese fire drill.
low. This baby is low. This feels great. I'm loving it. This is amazing. I'm absolutely loving it.
The Mazda Cosmo was a unique Japanese classic, but our trip to Leno land would not be complete without a quick run in Jay's modified American muscle.
Fine Japanese technology. Jay.
Let's try the other side of the coin.
The other hemisphere.
Exactly.
This is East meets West.
East meets West.
I don't have to get down as far into this car. Oh, this is so comfortable. Well, that sounds strong.
That's strong. Sayonara.
I can't believe this thing.
Yeah, see, you gotta get on the throttle slowly.
Yeah.
Even with traction control, it overrides it, then you hit the rev limiter. Bing, bing, bing. I just don't want to put big wide-ass tires on it, you know? See what I mean? Just keep pulling. That's only half the throttle. That extra power so you can merge safely.
Well, for the freeways, I'm sure that's important. Anyway, it's amazingly streetable, though.
Oh yeah, you drive it like a regular car. Where a horn should be. I gotta blow them off, I'm sorry.
The feeling of strapping into this, slightly modified American beast could only be compared to being handed the controls of a rocket ship. Ground control to Major J.
Probably give it a little gas here, see what he does.
So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage with Jay. Happy motoring.